Well, Saturday morning and going to do a job bid out here. And I just wanted to like document a list of like when I walk into a building, hey, what do I look at? What do I pay attention to? What are the things that I'm taking notes of to make sure that I have all the information that I need? And so I'm going to kind of go through that process with you while we drive through down this old dirt road. Actually, we're fixing to come up on a project that we finished a few weeks ago. There she is, big old 50 by 75 shop back there. Oh, we got Sprayfoam, hell yeah. So anyway, sometimes, you know, just getting to the job site is an adventure. So I've got directions. Once I pass that house where we did that work, I'm gonna take the first county road on the left, go past the cow pen. There should be an old rusty gate on the left, and then I should see the house. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, we're coming up on that county road here on the left. So now we just gotta go till we find the cow pen. It's kind of pretty back here, honestly. Okay, I think this is the cow pen right here on top of this hill. Yeah, there it is. Cow, son. So our next thing is a gate up here on the left at the house. I think I see it back there behind the tractor, peekabooing at us. The guy said he did have a yard sign out here. So looks like I can see that too. Oh yeah, this is the design center. Okay, Rex McKay Construction, that's the guy we're working for today. And you see that motherfucker sitting right back there, sitting pretty. Ranch Rules 101, okay? If you open it, shut it. It's a little bit muddy right here. That's okay, because we get that four-wheel drive. That's a lot of it muddy right here. That's true. Oh, sliding a little bit. Here we are. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do whenever I get to a place is make sure I've got everything that I need. So, especially if we're gonna be meeting somebody out here and having a conversation with them, I wanna make sure I've got all my tools together, okay? Before I get out of the truck, because then you get in a conversation with them, you're not paying attention to what you're doing, you're not paying attention to them, you're trying to get your stuff done, you reach around your pockets, you don't have what you're looking for. Just make sure you got everything. So look, I got my notebook. I'm gonna go ahead and flip it over to a blank page. If I can find one. There she is. Got my pen so I can take my notes. Got my measuring tape where I can measure it. So I'm gonna go ahead and start my notes off. I'm gonna put my client's name, Rex. Okay. The date is 12/02/23. And then I should also put a job number for this. I'm not gonna put it yet. I'll put that at the end just because I don't have that information right here in handy. But anyway, so if I knew my job number, I could look that up real quick and put that down too. And then that way I've got all of my description of the project. All right, so stepping out of the truck. First I'm just gonna look for a place to walk in. We're gonna start in the garage. Now, whenever you do a bid, or whenever I do a bid anyway, you know what, let me get set up. All right, so we're in the garage. The first thing that I want to do whenever I walk onto a job site is get a feel for the layout of the house. I mean, if this is just a basic rectangle, this is gonna be a pretty quick job. If there's gonna be some more details to it, it's gonna take a little bit longer. I'm gonna start in the garage. That's just where I walked in at. Also, it seems like it's gonna be pretty simple to put a bid on it. Now, I'm gonna keep my garage notes separate from my house notes. I think on this house, he's gonna wanna go ahead and insulate the garage and the house. All of it's gonna get spray foam. But I always like to keep that number separate because sometimes that's something that a client's gonna ask you, oh, well, we're not gonna insulate the garage, or, oh, we're just gonna do the garage with bats. You know, if it's not gonna be a climate controlled area, they may not wanna spend the money on the spray foam. So I always keep that separate. That helps me later on. If I need to remove that cost out of there, if I need to change it from spray foam to bats or whatever the condition may be, it's real easy. And then also sometimes, not all the time, sometimes your garage roof pitch is gonna be a different pitch than the rest of the house anyway. So I'm gonna keep this separate, but I'll need to make sure that I include this partition wall that separates the main house from the garage. I'm gonna include that with the house no matter what, because that needs to be insulated with the house, whether this gets it or not. So that's number one. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is just get a feel for what this garage looks like. And I'm gonna start this garage right here. So this is gonna be my wall to my left, straight line. And then it goes straight across, and we've got a little divot where it comes in. And I'm gonna go back to this corner, and then from there, I'm gonna come back to here. Okay, now this is the house partition wall right here. It's gonna go across, okay? And then this will be where the rest of the house is. So now that I've got my overall shape layout of what this garage looks like, now I just need to get the measurements and fill that in. 35'9". So I'm gonna go ahead and put that number in right here. 35'9". Overall width is gonna be from this wall straight across 26'10" and 5/16". Okay. Details. This offset is 1 foot 8 inches. And because I have the overall width, I don't need to take this measurement because I can pull that measurement later. And then this side obviously is going to be 1 foot 8 longer than that side. So now I have all the numbers of the dimensions of this building. I do need to get the roof pitch above here, but there's a deck just above here for storage. So I'm gonna have to get on the top side of there. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find my wall height, because now I have my layout. I'm gonna find my wall height to the top plate of the eave. And then once I have that, I'll make a list of the doors and windows so that I can deduct those out of the total square footage. Okay, so what we have here, I've got my total distance from this wall, which is the partition wall between the house and the garage, to here. I have the distance between this offset and here, so I can add this number and this number to get a total distance from this wall to here. And then also, I've got the total width from this wall to this wall up here, 26'10". And I also have the distance of this offset, just in case I need to know that. So if I ever needed to know this number, I could just subtract this from here. I also have the wall height for these walls. The only thing I need here is the pitch. Okay. And then I do have a list of the doors and windows. We've got a couple garage doors, and we've got some windows here and here. There's no pedestrian doors in here except through the house, which is kind of weird, but no pedestrian doors. But we do have all of this. The only thing we need for the garage is gonna be, we need to know what the pitch is. But we can't do that because they've got decking above these joists for storage. So I'll have to climb on top of that to get that number. But at this point, I'm ready to move on to the next. But I do need to get some numbers here for sure. I need this number, I need this number. Okay, so turning from the garage back to the house, I'm going to be basically doing the same thing. I'm just gonna continue on with drawing out what this house looks like, getting the shape of it, and then I'm going to make sure once I have my lengths of my perimeter, then I'll go back and I'll get my number of windows, number and size of the windows. And then once I have the quantity and size of the windows and doors, I will come back and verify that all of the walls are the same height and see if I need to add anything in for wall height changes. Once I have all that confirmed, then we'll go upstairs and see if we can figure out what the pitch of the roof is and kind of look at the geometry there, see if we need to add any gables in or if it's all going to be a hip roof or what have you. Okay, for me, this is how we're looking at this garage right now, okay? So when we turn around, we're going to be drawing this wall. So just so I don't get confused, I could really probably go ahead down there, but anyway. So I'm gonna go from here, I'm gonna give myself some room, I'm gonna go all the way to here, okay? So now I'm trying to find out what is the distance between here and here. So I've got my laser. You can see if you can see this all the way down there. Okay, 40 foot, 1 inch. Okay. Now while we go through here, we can go ahead and count our windows. The way I like to do this is I'm gonna measure one of these, and it's gonna be either a 3050 or 3060. 3060. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a little list right here. 3060, okay? And then every time I see one, I'm gonna put a tally mark. So I got 1, 2. Right there. These are going to be smaller. 1, 2. Okay. Now I can come through here and get a measurement on these. 3050. So right here, I'm going to add me a 3050. 3 foot wide, 5 foot tall. Okay. And I've got 1, 2 of those. So I'm gonna add 2 tally marks on this one. Okay, and then here is gonna be probably 4 foot wide. Yep, 4 foot by 5 foot. About 5.5 foot. So we're gonna have a 4 foot wide, 5 foot, 6 inches. We got 1 of those. Okay. Now, here we are. So now we can go from this side all the way to the other side to continue drawing out our house. Now, this drawing does not have to be proportional to what's here. It may be helpful if it's a little more proportional, but at the end of the day, we're just trying to get the numbers and have a representation of where those numbers go. Okay, we'll make sure that I got that one. 62 foot, 2 inches. Okay, and then once again, 1 3050. We got 2 3060s, so I'm gonna add another to my 3050. I'm gonna add 1, 2 more to my 3060. And then I'm gonna make my way through here. Okay, now we got a big window. This is not one that I've done yet. So we'll go ahead and get measurements on this. 7 foot that way, and 5 foot this way. So we got a 5070. So we'll add that to our list. 5070. We got one of those. We've got 2 of those. Okay, and then also we have a double door here. So instead of me writing down 2 separate things, I'm gonna put 3068, which is the typical pedestrian door, and I'm gonna count this for 2 of them. All right, now from this side, and we do have a little spot right here for the fireplace. So that may have to get insulated. So we will go ahead and mark on here. So here's my house. This is gonna be right about here. Okay, that's our fire closet. So I'm gonna come back and get measurements for that after I've confirmed whether or not. I'll probably get them anyway, but we may or may not be insulating that cabinet, so we'll come back to that. Okay, coming on from here, we're gonna go back to the front of the house. And this is gonna go right back to here. And this distance .43 foot, 3 inches. I just like to write all my numbers to where if I turn it sideways, I can read them all. 43 feet, 3 inches. Okay. And here we have 1, 2, 3, 3, 0, 6, 6 O's. So we got 1, 2, 3. And then here we have 2 more. 3 more. Well, this one looks like a 5-0. Or actually, these might be a little bit fatter actually. Let's see. No, it's a 3-0-6-0. This one is looking more 3-0-5 to me. But it look, with the way it's framed, it should be the same size. No, it's 3-0-6-0. So 3 more 3-0-6-0s. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now you can see here we've got another little offset. So we're gonna record our little offset. 5 foot or 4'9" actually. Better be precise. So this is gonna come across here. Okay. And then here's that offset. That offset is gonna measure 4 foot 9 inches. I do need a measurement on this. "10 foot 7 inches. Okay. Next up, we got a little straight run right here. I'm gonna have to, because I don't have an actual wall that's sheathed going across there, I'm gonna have to hit it to the framed wall right there. 25 foot even. So from here, this is gonna go all the way to the garage corner right here. So from here to here, 25 foot even. Okay. And we have 304Os. 1, 2, 3. 3040. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Got that one. Big doors, big doors. These are not regular doors. So let's see here. Let's get a measurement on these. Just that way I look from the edge. Wow, it's 3 foot wide. But it is a little bit taller. So this is going to be a 3078. And we've got 2 of those. Okay. All right, now we're back over here to the garage. Now this is what I was talking about, proportionality, right? So right here, we're fixing to draw this little portion. So from where we ended here at the garage to here. So from here to here, which on our drawing looks like a pretty decent amount of space. But on here, it's literally gonna be maybe 1 foot. 1 foot forward. So important to keep in mind, this isn't an accurate proportion of the house, but it is representation that gives these numbers submitted. Okay, so now at this point, I've got my entire layout of the house. I've got all of my numbers for the perimeter, and I can figure all that out. And then I've also got my entire list of doors and windows, their size and quantity. So I know I've got 10 306s, 3 305s, 1 4055. Anyway, so next thing we need to do is figure out what is our roof pitch and how many gables do we have. Okay, so here's the front door, walking in through here. I can't really see what's above on the garage in here. I know that we will separate the garage from the house on the upside, but let's just look for gables right now. So it looks like we're gonna have a gable here. You can see the start of it, but we can't really see it. It's not really visible. So we're gonna continue on. Okay, we've got an eave over here. Now we've got a gable above the fireplace. So this gable we're definitely going to want to make sure we get a number for it. Now, oh, you know what? One thing that I just noticed, I do not have a confirmed number for the wall height on the rest of this building. Now, just based off of where the top plate is on the garage to here, I'm gonna assume that it is 9 foot, but we'll go ahead and verify that. Yeah, 9 foot, so we're 9 foot right there. Now, what I need to do is I need to get the measurement from the center of this gable to the edge. So I've got 12 foot 3 there. And this is going to be right here. Okay, so 15.5. My walls are 9 foot tall to the top plate. To the peak of my gable is 15 foot 5 inches. And from the center to the edge, we're looking at 12 foot. Okay. So this is my garage gable. I'm gonna go ahead and call this G1, gable 1, because that's the first one that I know I'm gonna have. So right over here we got G1 somewhere in this area. Okay, right now we're over here. This is gonna be G2. And the only reason it's gonna be G2 is just because that's the order that we're doing it in. So I'm 12 foot here. And right here I'm 15.5 minus 9, which would be 6.5 feet. Okay. So now I've got that, I can figure out my gable there. Okay, I've got a gable here. You see that big motherfucker? Hell yeah. So I'm gonna do the same thing. Well, actually, yeah, this gable doesn't quite go on this corner. You can see the gable ties in to the edge of the wall, right? But on this other end, the gable does not come all the way to the edge. So you see it ties in there and it stops there. So I can't use this measurement and split it in two because I'll be off whatever that distance is. So what I can do right now, just to make this easy, is I'm just gonna measure from where this gable ends to here, 3 foot. So all I need to do is deduct 3 foot off of this number, and I can find my G3. So here's this end gable, right? Okay. It doesn't actually come to here. So from here to here, we got 3 foot even, okay? So now I know I'm 40 foot, which means for G3, draw my G3. I'm gonna be exactly 20 foot this way. Now my up and down, gotta find that up and down right there. So this one's gonna be kind of, I got a bunch of trash on this. 24 foot 4. So 24 minus 9. The 9 foot is the walls. We're subtracting the walls out to know what we are from the top plate to the peak. 24 foot minus 9 foot should be what? 15 foot? So 15 foot, 4 inches. Okay. Now, we're gonna turn it around, go to the other side, and we're gonna go upstairs, see what we look like over here. We may have to add on some wall spaces, but as tall as this roof pitch is, there may not be a whole lot of extra wall. Yes, so we've got definitely a gable on this end as well. This is a little bit funny looking. And then this is above the garage, you can see. And it's just all gonna be storage for a bonus room. We might put a pool table up here. We don't know. Okay. As you can see, this floor is a little bit above that top plate. So we need a distance between the top plate of that floor and the peak of this roof to get an accurate number. And these walls, I'll have to add in there. So I'll probably draw a little representation of this bonus room on a separate page, or maybe just make it as a note. I may not even record the shape of it. But let me get this measurement, and then I might have to scrap around. 12 foot 3. And 1 foot 8. So 14 foot total. And then width-wise, will just be half of the garage, which is 2610. So that's going to be 13.5. All right, so now we've got G1, which was our garage gable. And then probably in this scenario, so I said, you know, keep the garage separate from the rest of it. The way that this is built, you can see that they've got a door up here. We got a bathroom. There's the one window. This bathroom is only accessible from this bonus room. This is probably going to be a more permanent building. So it's not just going to be like Christmas light storage. So probably the correct way to insulate this building is going to be to insulate the subfloor, insulate your walls, your little partition walls here, and then insulate the entire roof deck and keep this whole thing separate from the garage in the notes. Because in the notes, if they want to take off the garage that they're going to want to take off is going to be the bottom floor, not this, which honestly, in the scope of this whole house, is not going to affect the overall price, hardly any. You know, it may save them $900, but it's not going to save that much money. So it probably doesn't matter, but just as a habit, I'm going to try to keep these notes somewhat separate. So I've got my G1. I need to get my overall length for up here, because this could be a little bit different length than where the actual garage ends from downstairs, because this room is a little bit different. Let's see if we can. You can see this right here, this wall is the top plate for the garage, okay? So you can see that this room is actually, here's the wall for this room. It's actually more in line with where the front room of the building starts, the entrance. So yeah, this is gonna be a little bit different numbers. Whoop, so we're going. So we're gonna keep this a little bit separate. This room is gonna be a total of 40 foot 6 inches. So I'm just gonna draw this right here. We got 40 foot 6. Width is gonna be probably the same as what the garage is. No, actually that's not true, because our little walls here are not at the outsides. So, but really, the whole roof deck is gonna have to be insulated because of how they're gonna run their ducts. They're gonna run their ducts back. Well, that maybe not. Okay, here's what I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. We're in a situation now where I don't know what the client is gonna want as far as insulation, because this is one of those times where they may have their own ideas about how things should be done. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna record the measurements of what things are, and then later we can figure out the rest of it. So this is one of those moments where, hey, it's important to make sure we've got measurements of everything. So I'm just gonna get everything, and that way we know. We got 13050 down there. So we'll add that onto our list with the house, because that's gonna be part of the house for sure. Total width right here. 16'1", which I don't even know if this number matters, because we're probably gonna have to do the whole roof deck anyway. And then the wall height, 4 foot. Okay, so I just said 4 foot side walls, and I've got a little area of the bonus room right there. Okay, we got our window recorded. So here we've got this little bonus bathroom area. We got our little 4 foot wall that continues to go around there. So I need to get a number for our little 4 foot wall. That's gonna be another surface. Here, 3'2", and from here to here, 5'8". It's gonna be a total of 8'10". Okay, so we have that. Okay, now back to what we came up here for, which was we were chasing gables. We were looking for that old, this is gonna be probably, we're gonna look Are we maintaining the same roof line all the way through? It kind of looks like we probably are. So this gable on this end is probably going to be the same gable that we've got on the other end. So this should match our G3 numbers. But we want to go ahead and verify that. And actually, no, it's not going to match our G3 numbers because our total width is not going to be the same, I believe. No, it's going to match because you can see here 40 foot all the way across, which is the exact same as our G3 numbers. So we've actually got two G3s. So we've got another G3 right here. G3. Okay, so we've got that. We need to add a 3050 right here. So we'll bring that to a total of 5 3050s. Now, at this point in the game, the only thing that we've got left to look at is what are going to be the unique challenges on this project? What are going to be the problem areas or the areas where we say, hey, this could be an issue? Now, the last thing that I need to do actually before we do this, I do need to record the total area of this this upstairs floor because this may be something that they want to insulate for sound reduction. So we do have the area above the garage. I do need to record the area on the rest of the upstairs that's inside the house. So let me get that number, then we'll move on to that one. 28 by 26 subfloor. Okay, so like I was saying, what are the unique challenges? What are gonna be something that's gonna be difficult, something that's gonna be out of the ordinary for us? Those types of things on this house. Is there gonna be anything like that? If there is, it's just gonna be getting back behind here to insulate that roof deck, which is not gonna be very difficult at all. So this one I would say is gonna be pretty simple. Now, sometimes what you run into when they run their ducts, they'll run their ducts like directly up against the roof deck, which can be an issue. Obviously, they don't have their ducts run. You can see them over there on the ground. So we don't even know if that's going to be a problem. That's just something we're going to have to work around regardless. But as far as I can tell with this project, it's going to be pretty straightforward. It doesn't look like it's going to be difficult to me at all. So what you see is what you get on this one. There's not going to be anything where we have any surprises really. They may want to insulate the front porch or the back porch, which, you know, on the front porch, I don't think they're going to be doing much hanging out here. We are going to have to build a little false wall here. So in between where the top plate of the wall is to the roof deck, in order to stop the airflow and encapsulate that, we will have to build us a false wall so that we have a surface to spray to there. So that's going to take a little bit of time. And back here in the back, okay, on either side of this gable, you can see we've got the same problem because we can see straight to outside right there. So we are going to have to build a false wall behind that one as well. Outside of doing that, it's going to be pretty simple. So you can see that a little bit better. You see how there's no separation between the house and the porch. So we will have to have some sort of backing there to spray to so that we stop at the house. I do need to get a number on the closet here, but we probably won't insulate that. But you know, everybody's a little bit different. So let's see. We are 6 foot across. We are 2 foot 3 inches deep. And how tall are we? 14 foot tall. So if we do need to record that, we can. Okay, let's talk about roof pitch real quick. So the main portion of this house is going to share this roof pitch there, and that's gonna run all the way back to the other end, okay? That's your main roof pitch. Then you're gonna have another roof pitch that runs across to your garage, okay? And that's cut in over here at the corner. So we've still got that primary roof pitch from G3, but right here, you can see where this joint is, okay? From here, that direction is gonna change, that pitch is gonna change. Well, it may not change, but it's gonna run this direction. So those are your two main roof pitches. Here, we've got this gable cut in. This is mostly for looks. They're gonna have a cathedral ceiling in here, a false cathedral ceiling. If it was a true cathedral ceiling, it would be at the roof deck itself. This is just gonna make the space look a little bit bigger, adds in this extra gable, which we've already accounted for. And you can see here that it adds in a roof pitch change on this decking, right? This is pretty damn minute. I'm not even gonna add anything in here to this. So it may change a little bit, it may not, I don't know. It's not really worth it for me to try to sit down and do the math and save the extra, $80 on the bid or whatever it is. But if you look at this, the way it's folded out, if you just folded that back down, it would complete the rest of the roof pitch on both sides of it. If you just took that and just folded it down. So it would actually probably be the exact same amount of square footage that the rest of the house is. Now, obviously, if this gable went, the peak of it went just as high as the peak of the main pitch, well, now we're probably doing something different and we may need to add in some space to that. But on something like this, it's not hardly anything. It's not really gonna change the overall cost at all, if it does, and I don't think it would on this one. So in this scenario, we're not doing nothing because that's probably gonna be the exact same amount, if not less. So let's not lowball ourselves. But that's this building, and it's gonna be pretty straightforward. Not a lot of issues. Now, I did get a call from old Rex while we were doing this. So, we could call him back, but he's just gonna ask basic questions. Like, how'd it go, old son? Y'all find it okay? Hell, them cows didn't bother you none, did they? So anyway, hey, look, that's it. That's us bidding. We're out here bidding, son. This is where it all starts right here. If you can't bid, you can't spray foam. Well, that's not actually true, but I'm just saying, this is the beginning. This is the foundation. This is what has to be right before we do anything else. Otherwise, nothing else is even worth doing, If we're not gonna make money on the job, we don't want the job. We don't like working for free. Hey, slavery was outlawed a long time ago, okay? And let's keep it that way. I will run through this final notes. Main thing is, whenever I leave here, I need to be able to go back and know everything about this house in case I have any questions to myself while I'm doing the estimation. So we'll just run back through here. We got a description of the client. We got the date that I did this. That way, if I'm trying to remember what date I did this, hey, here it is. We've got the overall layout of the house. We've got measurements that coordinate with each of these walls, okay? We have 1, 2, 3. Let's leave this one, G2. 3 different gables here, 3 different possible pitches. We have all of those numbers, A and B, A and B, A and B. That way we can find C. We've got all of our windows and doors. We've got our garage windows and doors separate from the rest of the house. So we've got everything that we need at this point. At this point, we just need to plug everything together. Up here is where I noted the square board or the square foot of the subfloor. It's a 28 by 26 subfloor up here. And then obviously we've got some subfloor up here, but that's gonna be the same as what this is, 40 by 16. So at this point, just based off of these numbers, we should be able to come in here and give a good ballpark. We got 2x4 walls. We'll go ahead and put that down, 2x4 walls and 2x6 roof deck. Okay, just in case we were wondering, man, I don't know how big we can go on that. 3.5 inches is all we're gonna be able to do on the walls. That is what it is. I don't know anything else to record at this point. So I think from this number we can give him an accurate estimate, and then from that point it's all just a bidding war of who gets it. So that's it. That's what I do whenever I go to bid a job. I get in there and I try to be pretty systematic about it, but I distract myself sometimes. And whenever you've got a client in there that you're dealing with and they're asking you questions and, oh, well, how thick are you gonna go? And, oh, well, how long have you been doing it? And, oh, do you know Randy Morton? You know, they're gonna ask you all kind of questions that you don't know the answers to, or maybe that you do know the answers to, but they're gonna distract you from what you're doing. But the main reason that you're there, obviously, you know, you want to build rapport with the client, but the main reason that you're there is to get those numbers. So that you got to stay on a mission, stay on task, get the numbers, get them down. That's it. Look for details, look for any unique challenges, but that's the main goal of the bid walk. Get the numbers. You can talk after. So usually what I like to do, I'll either sit there and talk to them and then I'll go get the numbers, or I'll go get the numbers and then I'll sit and talk to them. But it's really hard to do two things at once, and then you make a mistake, now we're working for free. So this one was easy because there was no client here. You know, just go in there, do your thing, take your time, no rush. But when you got somebody there and you got other things going on, you just have to really pay attention to make sure that you don't miss anything. So for me, that's kind of difficult. For you, hey, maybe easy, good luck, best of luck. Hey, go make some money, bid some bids.